everybody, I'm Garrett.
And I'm Carolyn.
And we're from Diary of a Family. And we wanted to talk to you about why we use firewood.
Why we use wood heat? Well, winter's coming on, and yes, we live in a pretty temperate zone here, but December through February can get pretty cold around here, pretty icy. We have three options here for heat for our house.
So, number one is electric heat. We have a bunch of different space heaters and other little tiny, things that we can just heat small areas, but it's not very practical for heating larger areas like the whole house.
So it's good for those cold mornings, taking the edge off the bathroom as we're taking a shower, or maybe just keeping the kids' room at a decent temperature while they sleep.
Yep. And number two is our oil tank.
This can be pretty expensive. We have an oil tank and an oil furnace that gives us forced air, and it's been pretty pricey in the past, where we've paid for it's been up to $4 a gallon for the oil.
Yep. So when you have a couple 100-gallon tank, that adds up really fast.
And we haven't used it exclusively in the past, but I expect that if we had used our oil tank exclusively for heat, we probably would have been filling that tank 2, maybe 3 times during the season.
Yeah.
And I would probably guess that to be about $1,500 or so.
Yeah. And then the third one is wood heat, and that's the main one we're going to be talking about today.
So we do have a wood stove. It's an insert into a fireplace. We had an old stove to begin with when we moved into the place, and we dealt with it for 3 seasons, something like that.
And it kind of went through about 4 cords of wood, and then the fireplace itself didn't have any kind of an insulation or anything like that. So what the problem was is that we were losing a lot of heat from the wood stove.
Right up the chimney.
Just because it really wasn't efficient, and it was just going right up the chimney.
So we did end up purchasing a brand new insert stove.
It's the one you see right here.
So you'll see that here in the video.
Yep.
And this stove, we've seen it burn maybe 1 to 2 cords of wood in a season.
As opposed to the 4 cords. So it's half our supply of wood that we need for the season.
Which that's pretty good.
Oh.
So we're going to try to use our wood stove heat exclusively this year and not use the oil tank. We did not get it serviced, the furnace serviced, or fill our tank this year. So when we need a little bit of heat in small rooms, we'll pop on one of the space heaters. But otherwise, we're going to be using our wood stove throughout the year.
And the wood stove is very efficient. Once it gets going, it has a fan that is temperature activated, and that allows us to, once it gets nice and hot, it starts blowing really nice warm air. And then after that, it could take maybe about an hour or so to heat up the whole house.
It's
to
also
a comfortable temperature.
It's also one of the newer styles of wood stove, where it recirculates the smoke back into the chamber, into the fire box, and burns it again. So you're having less emissions going out, and you're retaining more heat in the stove to then use to heat your house instead of going up the chimney.
So it definitely makes it more environmentally friendly, as well as more efficient, as we don't need as much wood.
So the chimney was just open, a square, large chimney.
Yep.
For the old.
Just right up.
Old stove.
Yep.
Now what do we have inside of it?
We have an insert that basically is a metal pipe or metal ducting that is made for fireplaces that goes all the way up, and then we have just a cap on the end. And it took us a little finagling to get it in there, because we had to work around some of the hardware that was in there for 60 years.
Fireplace.
For the fireplace, the original fireplace.
I have fond memories of wood heat growing up. As a child, I split and stacked wood. That was one of our summer and fall jobs, getting ready for the winter. Yeah. And I just remember fondly those cold winter nights with snapping fire, burning brightly, and just cuddling up to it close. And we had quite a few power outages where my folks live, And it was a lifesaver to have a wood stove to heat your house and cook on. My parents don't have a fireplace like ours that has the insert. It's a freestanding wood stove, and that's always an option for any dwelling that doesn't have the original chimney.
And one of the things we liked about the model we picked was the fact that if we had lost power in our house for an extended period of time, we wouldn't be without heat and we wouldn't be without cooking capabilities. That's definitely something that is beneficial for us.
Stack wood. Look at all this wood that we got in the truck.
Man, Daddy did it ourselves.
Yeah, you filled up the truck?
Ourselves.
Very, very nice, buddy. What?
You were telling me, so how do I stack?
How do you stack? You tell me how you stack.
I don't know.
Oh, careful, buddy.
I don't know how we stack. I don't know how we
Well, we
stack.
already just throw it in this big pile here so that Daddy can chop it.
Yeah,
Chop it,
that's
chop it,
how
chop
we
it. And then after it's chopped, we'll put it in the pile over here.
on the pile.
Huh?
Just throw it on the pile.
Yeah. Hi, Eddie. Eddie Spaghetti. Are you in the sunshine? We'll move you into the shed. There you go. Move into the shed.
Right over there. So what do you need? So how can we stack
Perfect. Beautiful.
The things that I remember most were building fires while camping. With the Boy Scouts, with the family. I just remember, building a fire. Using everything, getting a fire going from a little spark. A little tiny spark from a little flint and steel or something like that. And getting a full-on fire going from that. It's a little different than building a fire in a fireplace because normally we just throw whatever lights in, light a match or something. But I kind of have more memories, kind of outdoors memories.
Well, yeah, your parents are quite avid campers.
Yeah, like tent camping campers.
Okay, so from start to finish, this is how you need to take care of a wood-burning stove.
Number one is cleaning the chimney. And it's a pretty simple process, especially if you have an insert. The one thing you really want to make sure you do is have the right type of equipment, as in a brush and other things, to allow you to go and clean it out.
So number 2, you need to buy, cut, chop, stack your wood so that you have your fuel supply. Now when you're buying wood from places, you're going to ask, what kind of wood do you have? Do you have softwood? Do you have hardwood? Getting a mix is good. A hardwood would be like oak. A softwood would be like fir. Softwoods burn quicker. They burn hot, they burn bright, but they burn up faster.
Yep.
A hardwood, once you have a nice hot fire going, you throw hardwood in and that burns for longer, so you have longer time for heat.
You will pay less for wood that is not as prepared. So
Not as seasoned.
Not as seasoned.
Not as chopped.
Yep. So if you wanted the perfect amount of wood that's already chopped in the perfect lengths and everything else, you're going to be paying a couple $100 more.
What I've seen is that somewhere between $165 a cord up to even $250, $260, maybe $300. That's the price range that you're going to see. We try to find wood that's about $200 a cord.
Yep.
And it's usually seasoned, and it's a mixture of hard and soft.
A mixture of chopped and grounds. So. And the last one is cleaning your stove.
So I like to do this part. This is my indoor part. I have a metal bucket, and I have the tools that I need on the inside.
And she's not afraid to use it.
So after he had cleaned the chimney, there was a nice pile of creosote inside, and there were some old ashes from spring when we had burned it last. So I just pulled those out, and then I needed to inspect all the bricks on the inside, the fire bricks. This helps to protect, and it also keeps a lot of the heat in your firebox, that radiating heat.
A note for the fire bricks, they're fairly heavy, but they're also very fragile. So you don't want to drop them at all. They resist heat really, really well, but not drops. They basically would shatter if you drop them.
Now, if you do have one that's broken, as long as the edges are all together and it's not actually crumbling, you can continue to use it in your wood stove. But once it starts to show some degradation and like it's crumbling away, you're going to want to replace those. And then I cleaned the front of the stove. Ours is a big glass window, and we've tried several different things to clean off the creosote buildup on the inside where it makes the glass this hazy brown color.
Yep.
And that is from the fire being more smoky. So once you get hot, burning hot, you're not going to have the smoke that causes that window to cloud up.
And sometimes you'll even see that the creosote on the window burns away if it's hot enough on the inside.
Right, so it might start out being black, smoky, or brown, and then
it'll kind of clear itself up.
It will. So we learned a hack this year about cleaning it with the ashes. So there were still ashes inside my stove. I got a rag and I dampened it.
Just water.
Just a little bit of water, and that picked up some of the soot in the bottom of the wood stove, and then I used it as an abrasive to clean off that brown stuff on my window, and it worked like a charm.
Yep.
And it's not enough abrasiveness to actually scratch the glass.
So that's just some of the things that we've learned and some of the tips and tricks that we've learned for using wood and fire, wood and firewood as a heat source for our family.
If this video was helpful, give us a thumbs up, like us, send us a message about anything else you might want to know about. If you want to see something more about our wood stove, we do have a video coming up soon on our beautification of our fireplace.
You can kind of see it right up here. His early process. It's not quite done yet, but there will be a video coming out by me of the process of making the mantle and the accent wall.
We're upgrading from our 50s look to a more modern, more eclectic kind of look.
Again, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please make sure to hit that thumbs up. Also make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of our content and stay up to date with us and our family.
And remember, maximize your life.
See you in another video.